Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 28th of October. So, yesterday I was looking at I got a bit caught up in things. I answered a question and then got caught up in my technology let me down a little bit there, purely on the fact that I hadn't rebooted my PC for a while. Standard maintenance, that's what's needed. Anyway, so I will look at the markets in a moment. I was really looking at the euro yesterday, and I'll come on to that in a moment as well. Let's just run through what we got coming up then. So I was reading their news earlier on. Let's go to the easy one to look at. There we go. That's the easy one to look at. We got nothing today really. Richmond Manufacturing Index never really causes much interest, and the consumer confidence, CB consumer confidence, neither of which do too much. So really waiting for tomorrow when we got the Bank of Canada and the Fed meetings. So there are two meetings to watch out for tomorrow. Just looking, Bank of Canada still showing a 0.25% cut, as is the US rates, etc. Aside of that, I hadn't looked into Thursday. Of course, we've got Bank of Japan, the ECB. So got four major banks there, and this week, so perhaps that's why things are a tad quieter. We have seen a lot of US companies starting to report, and we will see many more, especially the tech ones, apparently. So, right, let's look at the technicals. So the euro yesterday, I was talking about that. I was waiting for it to break down from a four-hourly perspective, waiting for the breakdown here. Never happened. As I said, it's always a case of waiting for the first thing in the morning. The 8 o'clock bar came in, it air kissed the 50 MA, and off it went, and that was that. And yes, I could have traded with the long side there, I guess. Wasn't really my trading plan at the time, but it looks like it could become a bit more of a trading plan as we move forward. Now, at the moment, let's just come back bigger picture here now. We're starting to ease our way up again. If I just move this back a bit, I can get a bit more clarity in what we're seeing there. So we are back into another update here at the moment. You see it a little bit clearer. So now what was a bear flag is really just being confirmed, as I did point out the high lows, high highs yesterday. So there's always that risk that it will carry on, and it has. Now it's a case of, do we jump aboard? When do we jump aboard? And bit of a patience game at the moment. A move back to the daily pivot and some sort of reaction off that would be quite nice. It went through it yesterday. Well, maybe it's gone so far already. Perhaps a test of that. If it starts breaking down too much, so again, just step aside. Could be one of those funny old weeks where we just don't get anything too cleanly setting up. The pound, on the other hand, just looking at the pound, it's still sitting now around I say mine because it is mine. It's a pivotal area, which you get these in the markets. Sometimes with currencies, they tap one side, then the other side, but this goes back way beyond what's on the chart here. It seems to be a level which sort of probably suits the currency a little bit. Maybe it becomes a bit magnetic, and then you get the quarterly pivots as well. Well, this didn't do the same, quite the same as yesterday. Well, I don't know, it didn't pick up too badly, but didn't get into its R1 yesterday, so it was a little bit lighter, and it's selling off as we look at it in the moment. It hasn't hit the pivot there, so a touch of the pivot there. There's a bit of support into the pivot and a reversal. Well, perhaps that will be interesting. This could still take a breakdown, but just got to watch that 50 MA just in case that comes. It comes back to that and finds support off of that. So there are a couple of areas around here. If it runs through, well, then it might start breaking more, and it might just be the weaker pairing at the moment. It's still a bit sort of cleaner in terms of its moved to the downside, potential to its downside there. Okay, no news or no Bank of England this week, so that could give us the okay to run down towards its weekly S1 eventually. Right, US dollar yen. So we finally getting a bit more substance around it. I was looking at this yesterday as well in the morning, around this double top that's there. It's there when you see a double top, but you never know whether the double top's going to continue pushing in. There's many a time when we see a double top only for it to carry on moving. This seems to be moving to the downside here. Realistically, the real trade is a break of the low between the two highs, and that's where and then you're looking for a one-to-one move. But a lot of traders will want to jump a ball before then. There was an opportunity yesterday on the break of the, well, it came through the Asian session today. But if you'd left the sell stop below the low between these two highs, it's a lower high there, then confirmed. And there's the beginning of a move potentially. Now we could see a continuation of this, and another opportunity could come into play later. The only problem for today, it has moved quite a long way, and as we move closer to tomorrow, obviously Wednesday with the Fed in particularly, we could see a real mess suddenly occur. Big spiky price action on the likes of the yen, and of course the euro, which has its own data coming out a day later, or decision being made a day later. Anyway, so that's where we sit at the moment. There is the potential for a continuation to this. It certainly looks like it's softened up a little bit here, but it's when you get in. Aussie dollar, this is such a mess on the dailies, or has been a mess on the dailies, he says. There we go. It picked up yesterday, but coming back into, still don't like it. Sort of very rangy yesterday when it got there. It has this gap which at some stage might get filled, may become a target, but for now, well, it's still like everything else. The dollar's just giving something back at the moment as the equity markets fly. Money's rolling back to equities, and well, we'll see. Right, other pairings, not a great deal going on here with these other cross pairings. US CAD largely following the dollar, as it all staying quite tight with the dollar here, not really seeing quite so much range or movement within this, and actually has weakened again. Even the dollar is weakened against, so the Canadian dollar once again, you'll see it weakish against most of its peers, only fractionally, but it's not really going anywhere too much. Of course, we've got news coming out on that tomorrow. Right, other pairs, not, I mean, the euro yen, for example, has taken a dive this morning on this double top it's sitting at here. Again, this is a bit like the dollar yen in a sense, and there's potential for the opposite side to come through, but it is, yeah, not particularly the prettiest of pictures at the moment, and as with the dollar yen, a breakdown lower might well come in if we see money continue to move towards the yen. Okay, so not much in the majors there. Looking at the other markets, gold. Prince, good luck with your pound, euro. Euro might do it a little bit easier than the pound. The pound is just coming to the pivot. I'll come back to it before I finish. Right, gold. Daily wise, well, continued just to soften here at the moment as we're seeing more cheer, and we've got the positivity across potentially with US and China. And well, it's broken the lows here, lower highs coming through here. Traders coming out of this, retail I should imagine will be selling as quick as they can. Now start pulling out quite quickly. The short trades are certainly on this now. We saw the breakdown yesterday of these lows. We've already seen the tap of the pivot there, and I mean, it's classic, beautiful trader. You're up at whatever time of the morning that was, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you've taken it down to its S1 textbook. Anyway, not a lot to do there apart from look for the next retrace potentially. Oil is starting to rock and roll a little bit, having run into its 50 there. Maybe people, as much as there's comments about China reducing the amount of Russian oil, etc. It'll be sold at some point. It will work its way into the markets, and there's plenty of potential production capabilities sitting there, which countries will be liking to take advantage of if the price does pop up, which will only bring it back down again. Anyway, for now, well, it's already on the run to the downside again off here. It's looks like it's put some sort of top in here. We put lower highs coming through from that. Certainly looks a little bit clearer maybe on the 4 hourly. The bigger time frames sometimes look a little bit clearer in terms of what you're looking at, but certainly heading southbound at the moment. Equity markets then, S&Ps, this is down a tad at the moment, having had a cheerful old day yesterday, having the gap still sitting there as well. Any disappointment might see this gap filled. It's pulling away from itself a little bit at the moment. There's some analysts putting the equity markets in the US on overbought. Is it overbought? Anyway, they're promoting them, basically suggesting that for the next 18 months they're going to keep flying. Well, we'll see, won't we? But for now, well, that might be the case. But anyway, coming off at the moment a little bit here on the hourlies. Maybe we'll see what happens when it hits that daily pivot there. Bounce back up to the R1, could be a trade later on. New all-time highs, of course. FTSE's continue to sort of edge its way up here. Yes, they did make a high, but close fractionally down on its open. Still pushing ahead here at the moment, really, 4 hourly wise. Little retracement this morning so far, but it's 8 o'clock, so it's just on that 8 o'clock bar, then just showing it a bit of a retrace. But I wouldn't want to be shorting against these markets at the moment. Exception, of course, it always is the DAX. But this has become a right old mess, isn't it, again? It had that lovely sort of move at the beginning of the month there. And then a nice clean sell-off which gave opportunities. It might yet give some more opportunities. Quite a mess. It's closed its gap from yesterday, and well, at the moment, if you're looking for an equity market, it's looking a bit soft. This is one of them. Lower highs come through there yesterday. It's just giving us another short-term lower high as it's running through here. We'll see. Give this a little while. It might be rocking and rolling a bit further. Anyway, there we go. That's pretty much it for me. I'll finish off looking just then at the euro and the pound. What's happening here? The euro is coming off a little bit. Now the pound, you'll be pleased to know if you're long on it. So the euro's just come back to the hourlies. It's coming off, still coming off a little bit there, but around about this time is where we see some of the bigger movements. So the pound may be catching a bounce there. We'll see. I want to see it at a bigger bounce than what it's doing at the moment for sure. If I was looking long on that, I think the euro might be the slightly better long. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to leave you there and wish you a good day's trading, and I will be back in the morning, same time, 7:45 ish. Take care. Bye for now.